Yabba dabba do. This is a Saturday morning TV log from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Welcome to another Saturday morning TV log, and this time around it's the Flintstone Comedy Show, brought to us by Hanna-Barbera. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Joel, the Big D to you. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, so this week's Saturday morning TV log is the Flintstone Comedy Show. Not to be confused with the 30-minute reruns of the bit you saw from the 1972 series, The Flintstone Comedy Hour. Anyway, the show came on NBC in November of 1980. Of course, after recently showing their last series, the new Fred and Barney Show, whereas likewise it was shown with new episodes with the Thing, and then reruns and a few new episodes of the new Shmoo. Anyway, hang on a second. This is the fourth overall spin-off of the Flintstones and a revival series. Now, originally the show started out as a 90-minute series. Yes, this was Hanna-Barbera's biggest show to have an hour and a half runtime before the Smurfs came out the following year. Anyway, now the show had 6 segments. They are the Flintstone Family Adventures, the Frankenstones, Bedrock Cops, Pebbles, Dino, and Bamm-Bamm, Dino and Cave Mouse, and Captain Caveman. Now, of course, our usual core cast returned, which included Fred Flintstone, his wife Wilma, and neighbor Barney Rubble and wife Betty. Plus Dino and a few others. Now then. Now, of course, they made Pebbles and Bamm-Bamm kind of like teenagers again, but just a wee bit more different than what they were in the Pebbles and Bamm-Bamm show. They also brought back the supporting characters from that series, well, most of them, Penny, Wiggy, Moonrock, and Bad Luck Schleprock. Plus the Shmoo, who recently had a series from Hanna-Barbera, the new Shmoo, the previous year. Plus Captain K-Man, fresh in a prequel series to his show Captain K-Man the Teen Angels, which that happened to have been canceled that year, which I have yet to do a Saturday morning TV log of that. I will sometime. Now, the show also included a series of gags, educational spots, games, how to draw, and a dance of the week that were shown in between the 6 segments every week. Now, after a total of 18 episodes were produced and aired, as the show later got reduced to 60 minutes the next year, the show ended in October of 1981, but continued on till the next season. The show later got repackaged and went for 2 more seasons under the title The Flintstone Funnies, which NBC also showed. Outside of North America, the show was released under the title Flintstone Frolics, which would also be shown on Boomerang. After the segments of this show, along with the new Fred and Barney Show series, was shown on Cartoon Network's Back to Bedrock, but unfortunately without any intros or closings. But soon Boomerang had brought the show restored with the intro and closing, but they used the Flintstone Frolics title. Now, reruns of the Dino and the K-Mouse segment later got aired on Disney Channel as part of Wake, Rattle, and Roll. Anyway, now then. Now, the first segment of the series is the Flintstone Family Adventures, which, of course, was the segment that featured the traditional antics and adventures of the Flintstones and the Rubbles. Just like it's the previous series, the new Fred and Barney Show, there would be lots of craziness. There might be some mysteriousness going on and what have you. Yeah. Really something. The next segment is Bedrock Cops. Now, in 1975, Fred's original voice actor, the late great Alan Reed, revealed in an interview with radio historian Chuck Shaden that Hanna-Barbera was developing a series about Fred and Barney's adventures as bedrock policemen. Reed passed away in June of 1977 while the show was still in development and was replaced by Henry Corden, who continued on to this series. Now then, Fred and Barney are part-time officers assisted by the Shmoo, whom Fred does not really like much, but Barney does, as a trainee, where they work under the direction of Sergeant Boulder. Now, of course, Shmoo always does his shape-changing bits like he did in the new Shmoo. Now, the trio fought crime in the sea, most of the time chasing after Rockjaw, the pet monster of the Frankenstones, whom I'll get to in a little bit. Yes, but word of warning though, Rockjaw does have a little bit of a craving for Shmoo! Yes. Okay, the next segment is Pebbles, Dino, and Bamm-Bamm. Now, this was a themed adaptation of the mystery solving teens in a pet format, popularized by Hanna-Barbera's own Scooby-Doo and its various spin-offs. Like, more recently, Captain K-Man the Teen Angels, or the new Shmoo, and other titles. Now, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Pebbles and Bamm-Bamm similar, yet aged down just a wee bit from their appearance in the Pebbles and Bamm-Bamm show, along with Dino, solve mysteries in the Sea of Bedrock. Now, of course, Penny, Wiggy, and Moonrock sometimes tagged along for this. Now, the next one is the Frankenstones. Now, who were actually introduced before this because Hanna-Barbera had produced a few Flintstone specials before this, where they were just kind of close to what they were, but just different though. Now, the patriarch of the family, Frank, was actually kind of more of a nicer person, but in this series, he's more of a real hothead. Always calling Fred a strango, while Fred called him a weirdo. Yeah, but Wilma and the others show respect for the Frankenstones. For Frank, his wife Hydia, their kooky daughter Atrocia, who was actually a little bit more tolerant in the specials. And while they didn't have their young son, who was like a miniature version of Frank, was now called Freaky, and was friends with Pebbles. They are also similar in scope to the Gruesomes from the original Flintstone series, as a matter of fact. Yes, but now in the Flintstone primetime specials, the original, because Hydia was actually the name of the daughter, and Frank's wife was Oblivia Frankenstone, and the son was Stubby Frankenstone. I'll talk more about those in a future video. Anyway, sometimes old Frank can be hot-headed at times. Yeah, always gets mad all the time, stomps real fast. Oh boy. The next segment is Dino and Cave Mouse. This segment was similar to that of Tom and Jerry, whom actually returned the same year in the Tom and Jerry Comedy Show on CBS. Dino pitted against a pesky little Cave Mouse in chase sequences similar to Tom and Jerry. These sequences were story edited, and the character of Cave Mouse was developed by notable animation director Tex Avery before he passed away. Now, of course, even though the following year his last creation, Quickie Koala, came out. And 2 segments aired per episode. And actually, they used some of the old music that was heard in some of the short series that came out in the 60s. Like if you heard from, well, maybe shows like McGill Gorilla or maybe some of the other 60s tunes from Hanna-Barbera. Yeah. And finally, Captain Caveman. And of course, this segment serves as a prequel to Captain Caveman the Teen Angels, focusing on KV's time in Bedrock before he was frozen in ice and thawed out by the Teen Angels. Now, KV is under his secret identity as Chester, the office boy at a great, no, well, if you'll pardon the expression, Bedrockian newspaper called the Daily Granite. Bay and Wilma work there, and their boss is Lou Granite. Of course, that's based on Lou Grant, of course, the character from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and also from his own series that was on CBS at the time. Now, to disguise himself as Chester, Captain Caveman wore a pair of glasses and a tie similar to the Clark Kent persona used by Superman. Despite the simplicity of his disguise, he required a coat rack and an elaborate transformation sequence to become Captain Caveman. Yes. And there was also a little bit of an announcer as well. Yeah, well, he had the person of Superman, well, Clark Kent Superman ways, but he also had a secret cave that was like Batman's Bat Cave in ways. Yep. It was really funny. I mean, every time a villain comes around, he'll go try and challenge KV to summon just to save Wilma and Bay. Anyway, I've seen just about all of this series, and this is probably one of the most funniest Flintstone series out there. But you don't have to take my word for it. Now, for our voice acting cast, which I'll give to you in alphabetical order, there's Gay Arson, once again doing the voice of Bay Rubble, and also does the voice of Wiggy as well. Mel Blanc once again returns as the voice of Barney Rubble, plus Captain Caveman and Dino doing the vocal effects. Henry Corden returns as Fred Flintstone, this course being one of the two shows he was big at working on, because the same year this came out, he was also doing the vocal effects of Ookla the Mock for Ruby Spears' Thundar the Barbarian. Ruta Lee plays Hidia Frankenstone. Kenneth Mars, who of course would later do some voice acting work on some other shows. He'd also voiced the Cruel King Max in The Biscuits and other shows. He'd also voiced King Triton in The Little Mermaid from Disney. He voiced Luke Grant. I think he also was the announcer too for Captain Caveman, I'm pretty sure. Mitzi McCall, who of course was a big time funny gal who appeared on Rowan Martin's Laugh-In, voiced Penny Pillar. Don Masick once again does the vocal voice of Bad Luck Schleprock. Frank Frankenstone is voiced by Charles Nelson Riley, who of course was voiced by John Stevenson in the specials. Frankie Frankenstone is voiced by Paul Reubens, who of course this was kind of close to before we got to know him as a certain Pee Wee Herman. Zelda Rubinstein voices Atrocia. Michael Sheehan voices Bamm-Bamm. John Stevenson once again voices Fred's boss, Mr. Slate. Russie Taylor, whom we sadly lost almost 4 years ago, who of course was mostly best remembered from voicing a Minnie Mouse at the time, well, for many years. Did Pebbles and the K-Mouse's vocal effects. Gene Vanderfield's once again the voice of Wilma. Lane Weinrib, who recently did the voice of Scrappy-Doo and Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo the previous year. But of course, Don Masick took over that role. He voices Moonrock once again and voices Sergeant Boulder. Frank Welker does once again the voice of the Shmoo and Rockjaw's vocal effects. There's lots of other voice actors, including Rene Auberjonois, who, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. You may know him from Benson. Yeah, TV's Benson, other cartoons. Joe Baker, who also did work on various Hanna-Barbera tunes. There's Buster Jones, who recently was voicing Black Vulcan on the Super Friends. Let's see, Marion Schreffler, who, if I'm not mistaken, Yeah, the same year she voiced Richie Rich's mom, Regina Rich, which Richie Rich premiered the same year, and Paul Winchell, who of course you knew best as the original voice of Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, and he also voiced Dick Dastardly in The Wacky Races, and well, just about lots of other shows. So now you know about the Flintstone Comedy Show. I think you'll get a real good laugh from this and what have you. The show, unfortunately, isn't available on DVD, though. It got released on video cassette, however, a few years back. But anyway, it'd be tough to find this series, unfortunately. You can find the intro to the series, however, and you might be able to find maybe a few clips from the show. Anyway, I would like for this show to come out. It would be fun for everybody to get introduced to this and what have you. So anyway, I think the Flintstone Comedy Show from 1980, it's pretty fun, what have you. But what did you think of this show? Have you ever seen the Flintstone Comedy Show as is, or did you see it as the Flintstone Funnies or Flintstone Frolics? Let me know. Please let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned. We'll have another video come up soon. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, check out these other Saturday Morning TV logs. They're all just Flintstone related. In the upper left-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TV log on the Flintstone Comedy Hour itself. The upper right-hand corner is the Pebbles and Bamm-Bamm show. Or if you'd like, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see the standard TV log of the original series itself from 1960. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Saturday Morning TV log, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and next week's Saturday Morning TV log is Dungeons and Dragons. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya.